That's not allowed to happen again.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a story time video, and this is the story where I almost died. Let me get started. About 5 years ago, I was hiking in Yosemite with Keith and his little sister Jenny. Jenny was only 15 at the time, but Jenny is like Laura Croft. She's like an adventurer, and at 15 she was so much more fearless and adventurous than I. We figured Yosemite would be the best place to go for all that stuff. We decided to go there with her, and on our first day we figured we would take an easy hike. So we got dressed really cute, we figured we'd do some photo shoot pictures and stuff, and we'll just make it an easy day. This hike was the hike to Bridal Falls, and it was supposed to be only like 0.3 of a mile. It was like supposed to be just a little hike. So we decided to do that, and we did that hike, and when we got to that end of that hike, we realized that that wasn't the end. There was actually a whole rock scramble that took you to the base of the waterfall. And there was like a sign that says like, hike at your own risk, dangerous slippery rock, and I was very nervous because I'm very protective, especially over Keith and Jenny, so I was very nervous, and I was like, guys, be very careful, watch your step, don't slip. And remember, this is not Disneyland, but it looked like Disneyland. It looked like one of those Magic Mountain kind of rides where you're like, you know, you got boulders all over the place and you're on like, you know, this beautiful tube floating through this fake river. It was like just too good to be true. And there's these boulders of every size everywhere, from like teeny tiny ones to ones that are 20 feet big. It took us about 45 minutes to get through all those boulders to get to the base of the waterfall. There were kids swimming in this little pool under the waterfall. There were babies in people's arms. It was like Disney. Everybody was just relaxing. So we decided to have lunch there. We took some pictures. There were double rainbows. I started to get a little bit uneasy though when I realized that nobody else was there anymore. I looked around me and I was like, we're the only people here. And I don't like that. For some reason when I'm on a hike, I like to see other people on it. It makes me feel a little bit more secure. If something goes wrong, there's other people. I don't know why. I don't know if that could ever help me. It actually might hurt me. But I, for some reason, feel comfortable when I see other people around. And I yelled out to Keith, Keith, I think we should get going. We've been here for a while and I'm kind of ready to head back. And Keith was like, all right, just a minute, we're gonna get some more pictures by the wall. Jenny wanted to go up and touch the wall itself, and I think she actually did. So they were trying to take a little bit more pictures, and we were just about as close to the actual waterfall wall as you can get. And this wall is about 700 feet high with the waterfall just coming down like a bride's veil. As I'm starting to feel really uneasy and I'm sitting about 30 yards, maybe 25 yards away from them, I yell out, Keith, I think we should get going. Within a couple minutes, I hear a crack that sounds like thunder, and I look up to see if it's raining, and it is not raining, it's a blue sky, but I see a boulder the size of maybe 2 or 3 washing machines cracking off the side of this waterfall above our heads. And my heart dropped, and I screamed, Keith! And I just turned around and I started running because I knew what was next. The next time I looked up, I saw rock after rock after rock. It looked like a meteor shower coming right over us. It was like, I guess, the rock broke and then broke into a ton of pieces right above our heads. And I started bolting it. Now keep in mind, it took us about 45 minutes to get to where we were. So to get back to even the trail, which was not that far, but it still was such an intensive climb through all those boulders, it was gonna be insane for me to get out of that. I've never felt so trapped and uncomfortable and worried and afraid in my life. But I had so much adrenaline in me that just got me to protect myself. And I just prayed that they were safe. I didn't know if the whole wall was coming down. A lot of times when something breaks like that, it could trigger a ton of boulders to just break off the side of that mountain. When all those boulders smashed the ground, the sound was so loud, it was like nothing I've ever heard in my life. And it created this cloud of dust that looked like a dust storm. It was like this huge orangey brown dust. And I could not see in front of me until it settled. It was just the most terrifying experience. And I had so much adrenaline that I was running and jumping and leaping over gaps. I was running from one boulder to the next, and if there was a space that was like 3 feet between one boulder, I just was leaping from boulder to boulder. If the boulder was like 20 feet gigantic, I would slide down it onto the next boulder. And I was just trying my hardest to get out of there, and I was crying. I finally hear silence, and I was just like, please, please be okay. And then all of a sudden I hear Jenny laughing, and I was like, thank God. And that means that Keith's okay because the two of them were together. They actually didn't leave the area. They stayed where they were. And I guess they're the fight people and I'm the flight because I just started bolting it and I just prayed that I would get out. But they stayed still. Jenny actually found a huge boulder to hide underneath that was right next to her. Keith, on the other hand, had nowhere to go. He was too far from Jenny and too far from me, so he just crouched down and he had nowhere to hide. So he just prayed that nothing would hit him, and he said he had his eyes open and he watched as washing machine-sized boulders crashed around him and basketball-sized boulders, and even knowing that something that would be this size or smaller could just break his skull. So he just prayed and prayed, and all three of us made it out unscathed. And Keith came over to me and was like, slow down, you're gonna get hurt. And I was just shaking, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here, I gotta get out of here. And I gave him a punch instead of a hug, which was, I'm sorry, Keith. I gave him a punch instead of a hug, and I said, I told you this was dangerous. I told you we shouldn't have done this. And he was like, we're okay, we're okay. And he gave me a hug, and we made it out, and all these people were gathering around and asking us what our story was and what happened. And people had seen it from the highway, and they drove all the way over to see if everybody was okay. And
I was really scared.
Was the rock?
Yeah.
There was a rock falling. I saw
There's
it
a
from
rock.
the road.
Yeah. Oh, you saw it from the road?
From the road, I just look at them fall, and then I saw a
Yeah,
huge
they were up there.
a huge one.
Yeah, we were there.
So
It fell right next to us.
Like, how close?
Oh my God, did you see that?
We were there.
Like literally right
feet.
next to you.
Feet.
Guards?
thank God nobody got hurt, and we were the only people that could have got crushed by that boulder right there, but everybody was afraid in the whole entire area and was terrified. So it was a really intense moment for our lives. We just felt really blessed to still have each other in each other's life. The first night that happened, we could not sleep, just let me tell you that. We were just like, holy crap, did that actually happen? Felt like we were in an Indiana Jones movie. It was just insane. But we learned a lot from it, and I do have a little bit of PTSD though, so when I hike and I'm on cliffs or I have a giant rock wall next to me and I can look up and see boulders sticking out and stuff, I get very paranoid that things are gonna come down. So I learned a lot, I almost died, and I survived. So if you guys have any stories you wanna share with me, please share it in a comment below. If you guys have ever had a near-death moment or something like that, please share it. It'd be really cool to hear them. And if you guys have any questions or comments about the story or wanna know more about it, I'd be happy to answer any questions. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Boom! Huge explosion. It sounded like, I honestly don't even know what it sounded.
I wish I had like a GoPro on so I could have got a picture of what that looked like. It was like
I
the
wish I
craziest thing
had the
ever.
GoPro. I had the whole like rock coming down. I like look at it, I'm like, oh shit. I'm going under the like rock and I see Keith just like chilling there and I'm like, ugh. Ugh. That's on his page now.
That's not allowed to happen again.
That was pretty cool though.
They were talking about the rock slide that almost smashed them, and granite's very dense rock, very hard. So for every square foot of granite, it's about 150 pounds. So you're talking about a rock that's probably 20 or 30 square feet, so several thousand pounds probably of rock landed right next to them. So that's pretty wicked. People do die here in Yosemite, usually about 25 a year, and from all sorts and number of things. And rock slides are definitely an occasional killer. So consider yourselves lucky.